What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing season 3, episode 1 of The Wheel of Time. We are here, season 3, and oh my gosh, they started with a bang.
And
What?
here we go. Here we go again with us not being able to trust anybody in this show. Like you can't trust nobody.
Nobody.
Like holy shit. How about like when they put her in front and half the other eyes to die became black were our black eye. I'm like I literally thought it was just gonna be the red Aja come and try to save her. But then I was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Holy shit.
hmm Five out of the 21 sitters were Black Aja.
A
Listen, no,
quarter.
I think it was more than 5.
That of the sitters.
Okay, yeah. Because I was thinking I thought there was one more, but no, you're right.
Yeah, it
But
was five. And then the group they came on the outside and took care of the waters.
let me tell you. So they released the first 11 minutes of the season, maybe about 2.5 weeks before the season dropped. And I decided to go ahead and watch it. And when I tell you, I was sitting watching these first 11 minutes, and I was so hyped. I was in my living room. I was screaming. I was yelling at the TV because I really thought this bitch Leandra was about to get what was coming to her. I should have known better. I should have known better. But the way that they played it up in those first 11 minutes, it was great because this is taking place about a month after the events in Falme. So the Amerlin seat has called for sitting of the hall. She's called for all of the sitters except for the Red Aja. Leandrin is the only person. That's because she's calling Leandrin to the floor, which basically, I think in my mind, I'm like, okay, so that means it's kind of like a disciplinary hearing, maybe, because I don't think we've ever seen that before, except for with what happened with Moiraine, and we know that was kind of a setup. They did that on purpose. So Leandrin,
Shout out to real quick. Shout out to Leanne doing her best Gandalf when all the Red Aja tried to go in there. She was like, "Ping, you shall not pass."
Leanne, oh, you talking about Leanna?
Yeah, yeah.
Leanne,
Okay,
yeah,
so let me tell you, we said this in the last couple of episodes of season 2. Leanna is that bitch. Do you hear
truly.
me? Like,
Mhm.
she comes across as very harsh. She comes across as mean, but that is a woman I don't want to cross in the street because when I said it last season that she may be this, she may be that, but when it comes to having Suian's back, she's gonna be that chick. She definitely proved it in this one, and Alana
And
as well. So I guess whatever doubts we might have sort of had about Alana in the last season, I feel like okay, that's all put to bed because Alana had to give up too much in this episode for her to be Black Asha. But I think the first interesting thing was, especially in hindsight, going back rewatching this scene, is when they're all outside in the hall, you see all of the different groups of the Ajas talking amongst themselves, and you see certain people coming in. You see Leandra coming in, and that's when she's told that she's been called to the floor. I find it so interesting that one of her Red Aja sisters says, "We'll stand with you, Leandra, whatever the charges." I was like, okay, that's gonna be interesting for later because y'all didn't know what the charges were, but I'm sure y'all didn't think it was that she was Black Aja. Y'all probably thought anything else, but I don't think they thought it was that. The other thing I noticed is that when Alana walks in the hall, her confident stride, her nice little green bodice dress with a little bit of cleavage showing, and she's walking in there confident. Some of the other sisters were looking at her like, who does she think she is? I was like, y'all don't like Alana, and that's okay with me because something about the way they were acting outside was even just kind of weird. You know, it's very cliquish, which I
It
guess.
is cliquish.
Yeah.
There are reasons why the Ajas don't really care for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't really. They just think the Greens are just like what. Not only do you have 3, 4, 5 warders, you also what with them? Yeah, no, they can't.
So so
They
my
can't.
question is, that's I guess that's not just Alana, because the other girl who came in, Jean, she also had 2 warders. So is that like a common thing with the Green Asha where they have more than one warder and they're
Mm,
probably involved with more than one warder?
more or less.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
there's some that just have one that would be like their,
Mm-hmm.
their mate or
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, more or less. I mean,
Okay.
literally, more or less.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so Leandra goes into the hall and Suian starts this off very subtle. He was like, "Do you know why I called you here, Leandra?" And Leandra already has attitude. Probably because I don't court your favor, and I'm kind of glad I don't. And then she proceeds to tell everyone in the hall, you know, she's like making accusations, and she's telling everybody in the hall about how Suian called the sisters to Kyrian, and how while she was there, she met Moiraine and Rand, this guy who could channel, who, you know, the tower says we are bound to cage and, control. Here's my one question I have about that whole thing, because I think it's come up a couple of times about the fact that Moiraine has been banished from the White Tower. Does that mean that Suian is not supposed to have any contact with her at all, no matter where she is? Or is it just that she can't come to Tar Valon?
They were very careful that,
I'm not
she,
talking about their oath. I'm talking about what it's supposed to mean to everybody else. Like when you
it,
say she has been banished from the White Tower, does everybody else take it as she has been exiled? So it's like she's excommunicated. We can't have any contact with her? Or is it just that she can't set foot back in Tar Valon?
okay, you're asking like 3 different questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you really just have to go by the oath. The oath said she can't come back to the White Tower.
Okay.
You didn't say anything about being shunned. She didn't have, you can't have no contact with any other sister. It didn't have any of that. It was
Okay.
just, you're banished from the White
Okay.
Tower. You can only come back until I say so.
Okay.
So she would have to be in contact with her so she could let her know she can come back.
Okay. Okay.
So
Because
it,
the way that Leandrin was kind of bringing it to everybody, it's kind of like, oh, she had contact with Moiraine Sedai, who has been banished from the White Tower. I was like,
it
why would that be a thing for them to start whispering? Oh my gosh, she talked to Moiraine. Oh.
she just,
She's just doing it for dramatic effect.
yeah. And I don't think at the moment, they probably weren't thinking that she wasn't told she can't contact. She didn't kick her out of the Aes Sedai.
Right.
She just
Right.
banished her from the tower.
Right.
Yeah.
Until such and such time.
Yeah.
So okay.
She could come to Tar Valon. She just can't come into the tower.
Okay, so that was the thing that I was kind of confused about, because the way that Leandrin was setting everything up, like she was telling all
Yeah.
of the sitters, like, "Oh, I have an accusation against you. You're going against Tower law about different things, about her meeting Moiraine, about her meeting with
Yeah.
Rand."
I think the main thing was that this boy is a dragon reborn and she didn't cage him like she was supposed to.
Okay, and
She
then
was
she said,
conspiring with Moiraine.
"Right,
Is basically
okay,
what she was accusing her of.
okay." And then she also said something about letting him go on purpose. And I'm like, she doesn't know the exact circumstances of how Rand got away.
She doesn't, but it doesn't matter to her
Yeah, I know.
because someone had him
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't have him now. So
Yeah,
she let him get away.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
So
she can
then,
lie. So
right. So then Sawan comes back with accusations of her own. And she was like, okay, so if I did the things that you were accusing me of, which she could say in clear confidence because she didn't let Rand go. She was like, okay, so if I did the things that you're accusing me of, then yes, of course, the other sisters have to hold me accountable. But I know something they don't know about you, and that's that you're a dark friend. And Leandra's like trying to hem and haw, like, you don't have any proof. And they were looking at each other. Her and Leanna was like, okay. So they bring Nynaeve out. And Nynaeve walks out and everybody's like, oh, and Leanna's like, yeah, Leandrin kidnapped her and sold her to the Shanshan. And so you think at this point, it's a done deal. But Leandrin, I don't know what she was thinking. And like you said, I think an episode or two ago, Anthony, Leandrin's thinking she's a dark friend. She could probably do what she wants. She could probably hurt her sisters with no issue. Cause she damn sure tried it. She tried to use the power against her sisters, and Suian was like, how dare you? You use the one power in this hall against your sisters. The way she came off that seat and started going towards Leandra, I thought Leandra was about to get her ass like beat.
All I could think of was I could have sworn just waiting for Leandrin to say "Rain fire" like Thanos in Endgame, because it looked like someone was gonna piece her up like Scarlet Witch did to Thanos. I was like, oh, she's gonna pull her apart. Like they're gonna be pieces of Leandrin all over the fucking circle.
She tried.
So, I, as impressive and beautiful as this scene looked, what was Suian doing? Like, just kill the bitch. Just
She's
kill her.
monologuing.
Well, not only that, I have a theory about that because one, I don't think she was planning to kill her. She basically said they were going to gentle her. They were going to take her powers, but she was like, before you do that, you're going to tell me who the Black Aja are. And then Leandra's like, okay, I'll show you who they are. And then that's when you see the members of the Black Aja kind of stand up. They start attacking each other. I kind of think when it got to a point where you see Suian kind of doing the motion and you see Leandrin like coughing up blood, I think at that point she was really about to kill her because she was pissed off that there were so many Black Aja in the room with them. Like, how did we not see this? But I think she probably was not strong enough. This is just my opinion. First episode, based on what happened in the last episode, I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons why Lanfear said what she say, a
A
broken
broken armorland is better than a
is
dead
better than a dead one,
is
because I don't think she
is
was
more of use
strong
to me.
enough.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking about it, or at least the way that I look at the power struggle within the show, the Avalon seat should have been able to take down Leandra with no problem. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she was struggling to do that. Now, mind you, yeah, there's all this other chaos going on around her. There's fights. Aes Sedai are dying by their sister's hands. So I know that all of that was going on too. But I think if she was at full power, Leandrin would have been dead. I don't think she was strong enough.
Okay. The other issue I have is when she calls her for her sisters to come join her, they stand up and they walk and saunter all the way over there, right? And turn around and start attacking. What are the other sitters doing? Are they in shock?
I think probably so.
I don't know. Everything you said, everything how it went down, I can justify it. I just don't think it looked right because it's awfully convenient that four sisters take out the other 12. Wait, 7, because it was only 6 Ajas in there, so 6 times the 18 of the other 14 sisters, including Leanne, and I don't know. It just seemed a little weird, but whatever. It was a nice scene. But of course,
I think to answer your question, I do think that maybe yes, they were in shock, because the discussions we've had last couple of episodes, once Black Aja started being kind of thrown into the dialogue. Like Black Aja was a rumor for a long time. There was nothing solidifying that actually existed until they found out that Leandrin was a dark friend. So I think it's bad enough to find out that she is a dark friend, but then to turn around and when she says, join me, I mean, if you look at the look on Suwan's face when she said that, because Suwan was like, wait, they're in here? And then the other sisters, it's like, you're taking them from a situation where at first they were all sitting there joking and kind of gossiping about what Leandrin and Suwan were saying about each other. They were like, oh my God, did you hear that? Blah, 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 blah. And then you see the thing about Nynaeve come out and you hear what Leandrin did. And I think they're all sitting here like, what? And I don't think it was until she had Leandrin up in the air and you could see the camera focus on a couple of the Aes Sedai where they were looking at each other like, what we about to do. Because I think if Leandrin had not said, join me, sisters, they probably would not have done anything yet at that time. But when she said that, I think that was their sign like, okay, we're about to make our grand entrance. And everybody is looking around shocked because there were a couple of Aes Sedai who you could see the surprise plainly on their face. There was the one who got sliced in half looking like, what the fuck? I just think it was one of those things where your brain is taking a while to comprehend what it is that you were seeing and what's going on. I mean, the Aes Sedai are powerful, but they are human too. And that's a very human emotion, especially in the midst of that kind of grand betrayal. Like, these are my sisters. These are the people that I trusted. Like Varen said about Naomi later on in the episode, she said, this is a girl that I have watched grow since girlhood, and she betrayed me. I think all of them were just in shock. It's like, yeah. It would be like the three of us, and we finding out that Anthony is a dark friend or Michelle is a dark friend. It's kind of like, what the fuck?
We already know Anthony's a dark friend by how he acts around here. Isn't it? That's not neither here nor there. But this is basically like, in wrestling terms, this is like an ultimate heel turn. It's like for real. It's like something that comes out of the complete blue, and it's like
John Cena turning to the bad side.
Exactly. It's just like that, except better orchestrated. But I digress. This shit doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, yes, this shit was so fucking shocking. And then it's like, then Naomi's little, see, they almost tried, they try to get me to say the M word, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. But this little bitch, I swear to God. Ooh, I was like, as soon as the fight started and they went in there, I was like, something's not right. Like it's like something's not right with that. I don't like that at all. Like showing her like basically the talisman. Did y'all ever watch? Okay, my kids used to watch. Okay, me too. But it's a cartoon called the Jackie Chan Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they used to have the talisman and everybody tried to gather them and shit. And that's what this reminded me of. I'm like, you're gonna show her all the shits that their most powerful talismans or whatever, and it's like you can. And then the ironic thing is, she said there are a few people that we can trust, and I was like, when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh.
So the funny thing about that is because it was Varen, Adelaus, and Naomi. And they were walking away from all the drama. And Naomi was asking the questions like, why aren't we helping the Amelin? Where are we going? Blah, blah, blah. I was really looking at that, trying to see if it was going to show us Varen being Black Aja. Like, oh, Varen is, she's coming away from the fight and everything because she's going to do something that she's not supposed to do. So I was sitting here wondering like, okay, are they about to tell us that Varen is Black Aja? I was not.
Was she the one that we were saying that might be going bad before, like last season? We were talking about last season.
That was one of the ones that we were talking about could possibly be. So I was actually looking for that. Like, okay, so are they about to reveal to us that either Varen or her sister might be Black Aja? No, it turns out to be Naomi's old bitch ass. I was like, And then what she does,
She wiped her. Like, holy shit.
I was like, is there no one they can trust in this tower except for Lyanna and
No.
I mean Lyanna and Alana were obviously very protective of Suian, and they were fighting the black Aja. Lyanna, let me tell you, that one Aja that was in the white, when she knocked her down and kept hitting her with her staff, I said, oh, y'all done pissed this bitch off. Y'all done pissed her off because she is spilling some blood the old-fashioned way with her hands. She was like, I don't need the one power for this. Y'all
exactly.
Lyanna off.
Yeah, she had the 2 power. Like,
right. But then on the outside, of course, you have Ivan and Maxim, because they aren't allowed in the hall because it's women only. And you have the Red Aja and all the other people who aren't able to come into the hall. They hear all of the commotion going on, but the hall is locked. They can't get in. So then here comes the Red Aja, and they're like, let us through, let us through. And of course, because Leandrin is the one that's being accused, Ivan and Maxim are thinking that all of the Red Aja are part of whatever she's doing. So they're kind of facing off with each other. And then here comes this other chick, this green Aja and a yellow Aja. Here they come from the back. And Maxim is like, oh, thank God you're here. Help us. And she was like, no. And she attacks one of the Red Aja. She tries to attack the other one, the sitter for the Red Aja. And then her 2 warders come around, and the red, I think her name is
Sutama.
I think.
Sutama.
Yeah. She kills both of Jean's warders. And she was like, oh, I killed your warders. I'll kill you too. And then Jean does this thing. She was like, yes, I feel them dying. It feels so good. I was like, what did the Aes Sedai do to you that you would actually take pleasure in feeling their deaths? Like, we don't even know who you are, and I'm already intrigued. Like, I need to know more about you. I need to know who you are, and I need to know why you hate the Aes Sedai so much that you are sitting there like reveling in the fact that your sisters are dying. And then there's, of course, this big fight outside. Inside, I forgot to mention, here we go again. Nynaeve tries to use her power. She can't. She gets hit by some columns. So like,
Channeler 0. Like,
I just don't know what to make of this whole thing with Nynaeve. I really
I'm telling you, they have to nerf her.
I know.
Right now. They have to nerf her right now, because we're going to get to the point where she does become, because you'll see as the season goes,
they've nerfed her the whole
everybody's going to slowly, everyone else has got to get their stat upgrades, and she's sitting there waiting for everyone to catch up with her, and once they're all on the same level, she'll come through.
Okay, yeah, she's like Constitution plus 0 right now.
I'm gonna take your word for it, because I was like, you see all this death and destruction going on, and you can't, like, she couldn't even get a wisp out.
Yeah, obviously, I will say this. I will give you a little bit of credit and say, okay, well, they obviously had a plan going in. Mm-hmm. They knew what they were going to do already, so that would have caught all the other sisters off guard, because there was a plan. They had backup coming on the outside, just in case stuff didn't work out the right way inside. As fast as they linked together to create that blast, that lets you know that they really thought out exactly how everything was going to go down in there.
Yeah.
Because the linking was real quick.
It was, because I was like, okay, if she has time to link, then Suian would have time to link with Alana, but no, they were
because they had already planned to do this.
And that's what I'm saying. When I watched it, I was like, okay, y'all got time, but yeah, if they had it planned, again, Suian and all the other ones, they're caught off guard. Right now, Lyanna and Alana, their only thing is trying to protect Suian. They're like, okay, we're not worried about what y'all doing out here? Okay, yes, we got this person, we got this person. But once they saw them about to link up, it wasn't about, okay, a counterattack. It was about protect the Amerlin seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, they take the fight outside. And when they're outside, it's so funny because Leandrin and actually, I'm gonna step back. When they're in the 13th repository,
Mm-hmm.
and after Naomi has done her spell to knock out Varen and Adelaus, she starts taking artifacts from out of the repository. One of those artifacts looked really, really familiar, and it didn't really click with me until like the third time I watched that episode. It's like, that looks like a Sean Chen cuff sitting there on that display, on that little display.
The bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I saw it too.
I was like, because it's so interesting that once they get into the repository, the camera angle literally goes from behind. So like the bracelet is sitting right here, and then you're looking at Naomi and Varys and Adelaus from that point. And I'm like, y'all could have chose any other of the objects, but y'all chose that specific one.
They showed it a couple of times from a couple of different angles.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So I'm assuming that's going to play some part later on in the season, but I thought that was really interesting. But again,
one thing looked like a fingerprint. I was like,
the swirly piece of glass.
Yeah, and one thing looked like a Shafti from Moon Knight. I'm like, oh, they're gonna free Ashanti again.
And there was another Easter egg in there, the red stone door frame, which becomes pretty important later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it's more than just an Easter egg, but it'll come up a couple of times.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But then they move the fight outside, and you have Leandrin and the other Black Aja with her. They're trying to make it to the docks. Here comes Alana at the end of the way, and then here come Ivan and Maxim, and they're facing off. I felt like all we needed was a tumbleweed to go across the screen because it looked like one of the old Western face-offs. And Alana, let me tell you this, Alana was pretty well put together for somebody who had been in that battle up in the White Tower. Her hair was still in place. Her eyeliner, her mascara were a little bit runny. But boy, when I tell you she was shooting daggers at Leandra, she was like, you will not leave here alive. And then the fight started.
That jump she did, like that little matrix jump she did over them, I was like, Elena is not playing around. She is not fucking with you right now.
None of them were, because Alana is sitting here doing the gymnastics and using the one power. Ivan and Maxim are like stabbing folks left and right. Stab, stab, cut here. And then they get their swords into Leandra from the back, and they both stick her through the chest. I was like, yes, this bitch is about to die.
They should have gone for the head.
Well, they tried. The second,
the first time,
I know,
they should have gone for the head.
They didn't watch Infinity War. They didn't know. They didn't learn from Thor's mistake. They didn't, because they tried. After they stuck her through the chest, they tried. And then when they went at her head, you could see like kind of shields from Jean, and I think the other Aes Sedai was a yellow Aes Sedai.
I'm surprised you didn't ask how was an Aes Sedai with 2 orders able to take on like 5 Aes Sedai with like no problem.
It's Alana. Duh.
It's Alana and it's Ivan and Maxim. I've seen them fight enough to know that they ain't nothing to play with. And then, like you said, they're linked. They got the bond,
and so they got stat boost all over. They got the stat boost all over the place. She got the stat boost
+2 attack all over.
Yep.
And I also think I feel like the Aes Sedai that they were fighting maybe underestimated Ivan and Maxim. They were so
No.
focused on Alana.
No.
You don't
They
think so?
no. No. They know what warders are capable of.
Okay.
they,
I was just saying because it looked like they were all like
you know.
trying to go for Alana, because when I tell you Alana was not playing in this fight, she was
No.
not playing with this fight. They after they couldn't get Leandrin's head off, Alana goes for her. And she uses the one power to create like um a saw, or I don't know what you call that kind of weapon, but I was like, oh, she is really seriously trying to knock this bitch's head off.
Yeah.
She
Trying to
was
pull some
trying to
Doctor
cut
Strange
it.
shit.
And also I think it was sort of a nod to her Bollywood um history, because she's a really big Bollywood actress.
Oh, okay.
So I had heard that this was sort of one of those things that they're bringing her character to the forefront to kind of help. I don't want to say help in the industry, but to kind of put them a little bit forward.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't have a problem with that at
Not
all.
at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because she was kick ass, because she was mad. She was mad. But I was sitting here trying to figure out, because um it almost looked like she had the advantage. But then those other two Aes Sedai, which I was like, where are Maxim? Why are they not taking care of these chicks? They get her, they knock her out. They slam her up against the wall, they knock her out. And then as they get ready to leave, Leandrin turns around and she sees Alana on the ground. She sees I don't know if it was Ivan or Maxim. She sees their bloody sword on the ground. And she gets ready. She uses the one power to pick up the sword, and Ivan and Maxim see it at the same time, and they both race towards Alana. Maxim gets to her first. Ivan turns around, and the sword goes through his chest. When I tell you, I screamed at my TV. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
And he falls dead. And then it's like Ilana and Maxim look at each other at the same time. And poor Maxim, because he acknowledged, he was like, I can't feel Ivan. I can't feel Ivan. He refused to look in the street. He refused. And Alana crawled over to Ivan. She saw he was dead. She screamed. I was like, oh, y'all done made her real mad now. I don't know what's about to happen the rest of the season, but you best believe Leandrin she is number one on Alana's hit list right now.
She on number one on everybody's hit list.
Yeah. Yeah, but number one with a bullet for Alana. Alana's going to tear her apart.
Yeah, I really feel like it's at this point where if they see each other in the street, like let me see if I understand this one power and the oath correctly, because I know that they were using the one power as weapons in this fight, but that's because they were being attacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if she just catch Leandra out in the street, she can't just go for her and attack her, because that would be breaking the oath, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It doesn't apply to dark friends.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
shadow spawn.
Okay.
It doesn't apply to dark friends.
Okay.
And there's a debate in the community about, in the book is very clear, the third oath, where you can't use it as a weapon unless it's against, a dark friend. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, in the defense of a sister or defense of yourself or your warder. But also, it doesn't apply to dark friends and shadow spawn. Uh-huh. Moiraine, when she was explaining the three oaths in the beginning of the series, mm-hmm. she didn't say that part. But I don't know if that was intentional by the show writers or she was just doing shorthand.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like she said what they needed to know at the time, mm-hmm. but she didn't have to say the part about, we can use it against dark friends or shadow spawn. That might be kind of understood.
Right. Right. Okay.
I
And
have to
then I
wait
think,
for a dark friend to attack me before I kill them. No,
oh, okay.
no one. No one in, we call it Randland. No one in Randland likes dark friends.
Yeah, you
If you're
mentioned
a
that.
dark friend, you are probably going to get killed. The worst thing you could call someone is a dark friend.
Yeah, because you told me they don't even do that as a joke. Like they take it
No,
that
they don't
serious.
even play around. They take
Okay.
it that seriously.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, so needless to say, if Alana sees Leandrin gonna catch some hands and maybe a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't kill
On
Ivan now.
site.
Yeah, all of them are now. If I sees them, they could be killed on sight.
Killed on sight. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have Suian coming through the city because she's on her way to try to intercept Leandrin. The two Aes Sedai that are with her are killed by two of the other Dark Aja, and then they shield Suian. And Suian is actually looking like she is trying to break out of this shield. And both of them are saying, we can't contain her. She's too strong. So one of the Aes Sedai says, okay, well, fuck what Leandrin said. We're going to have to kill her. And so
Okay,
she tries.
I want to address something you said earlier
Uh-huh.
about her being weak. From my understanding on the show, Moiraine is, as far as we know, the strongest Aes Sedai outside of the tower,
Mm-hmm.
and Sawan is the strongest Aes Sedai in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, their shield wasn't going to hold her very long.
Yeah, and I noticed that because she looked like she was breaking through.
Yeah.
And they said they were having trouble containing her. So what they try to do instead is they try to bring a building down on top of her head to kill her. But all of the rubble stops just above Swan's head. So they're sitting here like, how the hell is she doing this? They don't know. They're like, it can't be her. She's shielded. But that's enough of a distraction for Swan to get loose and knock them out. And then she turns around and she looks, and it's Moiraine who has saved her. And she just looks at Moiraine like, Moiraine, she kind of lets the blocks fall behind Swan and she takes off. But I was like,
I just want to know, all those dead warders, how did Ivan and Maxim walk out of there?
That's right.
Because they have Alana. They have Alana. And I kind of feel like the way that they've shown us the warders. Well, one, I will also say this too. We didn't know any of them other warders. We didn't care.
Yeah, that'd be
We don't
Warder
care.
1, Warder 2. Yeah, whatever.
Basically, it's
Basically,
like
red
you're not
shirt.
going to
Don't even
touch
worry about it.
Ivan and Maxim. So again, the fact that Ivan is dead, I have a problem with it. Like, I am in my feelings about the fact that Ivan is dead, especially since as part of that relationship, he was the one that Alana and Maxim, I feel like he was the most loved out of the three in that whole little.
Well, because Maxim loved him, and he loved Alana. So,
and I think Alana loves both of them too, but I think she
loved Ivan.
She loved Ivan more. Yeah. And I think she was probably bonded to Ivan longer than she was to Maxim, because Maxim became a warder because of Ivan. At least that's what I remember the conversation.
Became her warder because of Ivan.
Well, yeah. But that's what I meant. But yeah, the fact that they killed him, I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? What in the world? So anyway, so now Black Aja fully incorporated into the show, and have done some damage. Outside of all of this, at the beginning of the episode, we see Moiraine, we see Lan, and Lan is no, I guess they knew what was about to happen because of the fact that Nynaeve was there, and Lan was like, "Oh, Sawana be okay," or yeah, I guess that's what he was talking about. He was like, "She'll be okay," and Moiraine was like, "Today is not about her." So after all of this goes on and they see kind of the destruction at the tower, Lan goes to the tower, sees all the dead warders, and then goes in to retrieve Nynaeve, who again has been knocked out because she can't do shit with her powers.
The most powerful Aes Sedai in the last 1,000 years.
Maybe if we say it 5 more times, she'll actually become it.
I don't know. But anyway, so then we see our Two Rivers people, and they're all in the room together, and they're talking about the attack and what has happened, and talking about the fact that I was about to say on the road. No, they haven't. They've been on a boat. They've been on a boat for a month trying to escape from the Forsaken because, Rand kind of killed one of them in Falme. And they start talking about the fact that the news has already traveled to Tar Valon, which is, as Egwene says, half a world away. Because Perrin is like, why don't we just go somewhere where they've never heard of the dragon? Let's just go live our best lives and just forget all this shit. And Egwene was like, there literally is nowhere for us to go. Because if they've already heard, like they had already heard about it in Tar Valon before they even got back.
Word of mouth travels fast. So it's Gleeman singing them songs, boy. They move. It moves fast.
Right.
Yo, shout out to my boy Perrin for having the magnificent afro. My dog's fro was froing.
I love his hair.
My dog, really.
I'm not letting it go. You can just might as well just deal with it and move on. But yo, I'm jealous. It's like, I literally I watched this episode, I almost cut my dreads and tried to replicate that shit.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But his shit is immaculate. And I'm like, these guys, I was like, I'm looking at them. Every time I see these guys to get people together, I'm just like, what the fuck's getting ready? What are y'all getting ready to do? Like y'all getting ready to do some bullshit. Like something's getting ready to fucking happen.
I would say this. After having almost the whole season with them being apart, I really liked the scenes with them together in this episode, especially since it seems like this is the only episode where they're all going to be together, because by the end of the episode, they're all going separate ways. But I like the fact that they were there together and they were kind of on one accord and they were basically supporting each other. The whole thing with Max just breaking out in the old tongue just at random points, that's a little weird.
Matt's old tongue Tourette's. Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yes. But one of the things I did like about this episode is just seeing them kind of be themselves again, even though it was just for a short time. Like Moiraine tells them that they can't go out into the city because she was like, yeah, after what happened in the tower, I don't want y'all near any Aes Sedai. Y'all need to stay. Like she was like, I don't want y'all near nobody. Y'all need to stay put at least until tomorrow morning when we go to Tyr, because they're planning to go to Tyr to get a sword that Rand can use to kill the Forsaken. She was like, but I know y'all not going to listen to me anyway. I'm just saying, cover your hair, hide your weapons, and just kind of remember that when you're out and about.
That's all they
ain't doing none of that shit. They ain't doing none of that.
Matt was like, I've been cooped up on a boat for a month. I'm not staying put one more day. He was like, Rand, Perrin, you coming with me? They go out and have their little drinking. Now, let me tell you.
I like what Loyal said. Why does this woman want to leave first thing in the morning before we have breakfast?
Right. Why do we always have to leave at dawn? And I always wonder that in stories. They're like, we're leaving first thing in the morning. We're leaving at dawn. We can't just sleep in for an hour. Like, do we really have to get up that early? Loyal is like thinking on the same accord. He was like, can we just have breakfast first before we just go off into a boat? Because they're not going to have any decent meals on the boat, especially depending on how long. What did she say? It was going to take them about 2 weeks to get to Tyr.
Oh, hell no.
Let them have a good hearty breakfast. But
yeah, Loyal is me and I am
sword. The sword that is not a sword.
The sword that is not a sword that Matt says in the old tongue. Everybody's looking at him like, the fuck?
Calendar and the stone of Tyr. A sword and the stone. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds like a little Arthurian stuff.
It's only kind of derivative. It's only a little derivative.
Well, his name, Rand al'Thor. Randall Thor? Arthur? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's enough to connect the dots. I mean,
Oh,
hey,
I'm gonna mansplain and blow Mike's mind away real quick.
oh
Oh
Lord.
God, here we go.
Here you go.
Hit me.
Okay, so there are three characters that basically represent three of the Norse gods,
Okay.
and I'll let you think about that for a while. And no,
Okay.
Randall Thor is not Thor,
Well,
but it may
but he's
take
probably he's probably
this.
he's probably Eric the Red or some shit.
No,
So
just
okay.
just well, just put that in the back of your head as you watch this.
Stick a pin in
Are
it,
you?
as Anthony said.
Yes, put a pin in it. Are you? Do you know your Norse mythology pretty good?
I'm gonna
If
go. I'm
not,
gonna
he's
go.
probably going to do some research when we get off this recording.
I know like a little. I know Leaf, Eric, Thor,
Okay, get
Loki.
that. We'll put a pin in this, and we'll come back at the end of the season, and we'll
Cool.
see.
Okay. Okay. Now, Perry, Matt, and Rand, they go out for some drinks.
Did
I'm
anybody
gonna
else
tell
think
you, you
that
would
that
think
the person that was sketching them was like, okay, for lack of a better word, sketchy?
no, I don't think anybody else there was sketchy except for Matt. Like, I mean, I love Matt Cawthon. I love this little bit of confidence that he has from being the horn blower. But Matt, for real, I need you to tone it down a
That's
little bit.
Wait,
yeah. I was
wasn't
like,
he the one? Was he the one that said, looking at Bane and Chad, and was like, "Wonder what my chances are." Was it
Yes,
that bad?
yes, later on, yes. He, I don't have a problem with the confidence, but him walking around talking about, yeah, I'm mad. I'm the person who blew the horn of Valir. He was like, why you have your dragon's head up your dragon's ass? I was the one who blew the horn of Valir, and Rand is just sitting there cracking up. And Perrin is like, oh, wait, was that you? Oh, you, Matt Cawthon from the Two Rivers? Yes, I'm Matt Cawthon from the Two Rivers. I blew the horn of Valir. I'm like, do y'all have to say that shit so loud? Like, y'all are on the run from the Forsaken, right? Y'all do realize they may have dark friends in Tar Valon, right? I was just sitting there watching the TV like, oh, Matt, whatever respect I had for you in the last episode, you are slowly dwindling it away by your sheer, I don't know if it's just glee that he's back with his two best friends and they're just having a moment of normalcy. But did you see the way the guy standing next to him looked at him when he said, I blew the horn of a little guy was like, oh, really? I was like,
yes, that's the
man.
guy. That's the guy. I was like, what the fuck is he gonna do?
Yeah, not
Like,
the one sketching him, but the one who was
no,
standing
yeah, the
behind
guy
him.
right behind him. He was like, hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Anthony, I noticed the other little Easter egg they put in that scene because Rand goes over to the sketch artist and he was like, there's not enough drink in the world for this. And it was a sketch of Rand and Ishmael
Ishmael.
Ishmael. Yeah.
in the sky above the tower fighting. And that's how you said it happened in the book, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, okay, that's cute. They actually put that in there so that people who might be like, oh, that's not how it happened in the book. Well, here's your physical representation of it. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
You were like, I would have rather seen the fight.
No, no, the way it's described in the book would be almost impossible budgetary wise to do it unless they had like a big, that big jumbotron they have in Dallas Stadium. Unless
They
that
would
was
have
like
to do it
floating
the
up
way
there.
the Agatha and Kingo fight was in What If.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's
Right.
what I was thinking of when
yeah,
you described it. I was like, oh, it would have to be like that.
yeah,
Which, yes,
The
in live
battle in the
action, that would
sky.
cost a lot.
Battle in the
yeah.
sky.
But in the book, the reason why word travels so fast is they all thought, everybody who really didn't know what was happening thought that was the dragon defeating the dark one.
Oh, so they thought it was the last battle.
Yeah.
Oh no, the
Your
last
your
battle,
common
believe
your
me.
common folk were thinking that, oh, he defeated the dark one. That's why word travels so fast. You know. And then Matt has the audacity to have the horn in the shot. That's why no one believed him. Those guys sitting there, people talk about hunting. The Great Hunt is a
Mm-hmm.
big deal
Mm-hmm.
in Randland. And people have lied and said they had the horn. People have boasted about finding the horn, and people are still looking for it. So of course, those guys in that bar, they're like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah. But the
Whatever,
fact that
dude.
he had it and he was just like, yeah,
I'm
for
surprised
all
he
of the
wasn't drinking out
skeptics.
of it. He was like,
Yeah. But I mean, just the fact that for all of those skeptics that are there, there's going to be at least one person who believes it and who's like, maybe he
But
did do that.
in the back of their minds, to be honest with you, there isn't anywhere they can go that the Forsaken don't know where they are.
As we see in this episode.
And
So,
can
yeah.
put their hands on them at any time. So,
Yeah.
These guys make me nervous. They make me so fucking nervous because I know something's gonna fucking happen. I'm like, I know it.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lanfear is in town, which is so funny because Anthony, I think you had mentioned this in like the last episode where we were trying to figure out how much Rand has told Matt about Lanfear. And I think you were remembering the conversation from this episode because in this episode, when they're having their drinks, they're like, oh, okay, so let's talk about some normal stuff. You and Egwene are together. And Rand was like, well, we really haven't talked about it. And he was like, yeah, well, it's not like you've kissed anybody else. And Rand sits back like, yeah, I know something you don't. And Matt and Karen are looking at him like, wait, you kissed somebody else or maybe more? Like, what's going on? And Rand has this look like, yeah, I have a secret you don't know. I will say this. I enjoyed seeing them kind of act like teenagers again or act like young men again because we really haven't seen that between them since the first episode.
Yeah, this was like a reset of the first episode of season 1.
Yeah. So I kind of liked it. Rand sitting there looking at Matt and Perrin, they trying to figure out who it was. They were like, wait, was it an older girl? Like, who was it? Was it Avienda? And Matt said no, because she only looks that way at Elaine and Perrin. And Perrin's like, nope, it's not like that between us. Matt's like, but it could be. And then they start talking about, oh, is it what is it? Chiandi and
Chiad and Bien.
Chiad and yeah. And they're like, oh, is it them? And he tells them, he was like, no, it was a woman, innkeeper. Her name was Celine. You know, she was in Karian. And they're like, they start asking him something else. And I think at that point, the question gets a little uncomfortable for Rand because he was like, yeah, let's go get some. I'm going to go get some more drinks because, yeah, you kind of remembered now that this lady that you were with was also a Forsaken. And then here comes Lanfear. She's in Tar Valon. She makes her way up to talk to Lan and Moiraine. And let me tell you, I understand that Moiraine, I understand she has a mission and she wants Rand to go to Tyr for the sword. But if Lanfear is wanting the same thing, I don't think that's a good idea. It makes sense, but at the same time, anything that puts you in league with Lanfear, I have doubts about, especially since Lanfear is trying to get Rand away from the rest of the gang. Because what is it that she says? He's still holding on to his friends. She was like, they remind him of the boy he used to be instead of the man he must become. So basically, she's like, okay, he needs to get rid of these friends. And I don't know, maybe I missed the whole conversation. I mean, I do know that there were some extra things happening later on in the episode when they were attacked, but I was like, where in this conversation did it come to pass that Moiraine told Lanfear that she could fuck with the Two Rivers folks and they were not gonna interfere? Because when everything starts going down in the end later and everybody starts getting attacked and Lan is looking at Moiraine like the fuck, and Moiraine is shaking her head like no, I'm like, does she realize they're being like attacked? Of
course she does.
Just sitting here like, when did I miss that part of the conversation? Like, I understand you scaring them. I understand you doing stuff that'll make them say, hey, I'm not going to go. But Nynaeve was stabbed 11 times.
But see,
Perrin,
she had nothing. You find out later, she
yeah,
had nothing to do with that.
yeah, I do realize that. But like, while all of that is going on, the fact that they're screaming and Moiraine is just sitting there so calm. I'm like, Moiraine, I think there's a little bit more going on than you think is going on. Like, I think she probably expected like some fight, some difficulty, maybe somebody getting hurt, but all the stabbing, like Perrin had an axe thrown into his chest. Then he had the axe thrown into his hand. The axe was literally trying to strangle um Bane and Chiad and
Yeah.
also Loyal. And then Matt was sitting there looking at his cards. And okay, let me ask you a question. The whole thing with the cards kind of mesmerizing him, was that part of what the gray man was doing? Because it wasn't.
No,
Okay. Because as soon
that
as the
that
gray man died, it's like he broke out of that trance.
the one thing that they've done in this thing is made the Forsaken much more powerful in the dreams than they really should be. But I mean, I understand why they did it, but they're pretty. Some are more adept at it than others.
Okay.
Um, now, in the book, it wasn't Lanfear that did this. The Dark One is able to throw out bubbles of evil. That's what we call them, and
Okay.
they're things that float around and they kind of create chaos. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
something that's what's happening here. It's just that instead of making it the Dark One, they're making it Lanfear and have a purpose. Well,
Okay.
the bubbles of fear, the bubbles of evil are sort of random and don't really have a purpose.
Okay.
So that's what happens in the book.
Okay.
And in the book, if I remember correctly, the items in the cards actually come out and attack Matt.
Oh, okay. Because
So
the way, like, the third time I watched this episode, I was paying attention to that because, okay, as we learn later on in the episode, there are two things going on here. Like, Lanfear is having her fun with the Two Rivers folks by creating chaos, but how do you pronounce her name?
Morgedian,
Mogedian. She also has a gray man there who is actually like physically attacking them, but we don't learn this until later on. But while Matt is sitting and looking at the cards, and you see the cards kind of moving and doing this thing, and he's in this trance, it almost seems like because he had just described to Nynaeve what was going on in his head with all the memories and him hearing people screaming and stuff, I feel like he thought he was just hearing the memory scream instead of hearing Nynaeve and hearing everything else that was going on in the end with
yeah,
everybody else
it
being.
was almost like maybe it's a little weird. Because again, I'm really not sure how powerful she is at illusions,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to say maybe he sort of maybe passed out on his feet and went to sleep, but
Mm.
maybe she did get him into a trance. I don't know how, but that's the only one I don't understand. But I wanted to go back to say she did confront Moiraine. She said, "You think?" Moiraine said, "You think I will hurt them to get him to do what we want?"
Mm-hmm.
And and Lanfear's like, "Yeah, that's what I like
That's the
about
only
you."
thing I like about you.
So that was the plan. So that was a part of the conversation that let you know that she was going to let her do whatever she needed to do to get them to go where they need them to go.
Yeah, but I guess the part, like she was saying when they confronted her about it later on, she was saying, "Oh yeah, I was just having a little fun." Because what did she do? Egwene and Rand are sleeping. Egwene has a dream about Rena because she talks about it in this episode about how she and Rand are trying to reconnect, but every time he touches her, she has a flashback of Rena, and then she sees Rena in her dreams at night. So she has this dream about Rena choking her, and then she wakes up and Rand is choking her. Then she looks to the side where Rand was laying and realizes Rand is still there. So this is something else that is choking her, trying to kill her. Rand gets up, he starts fighting with this thing. Then here comes another Rand, and here comes another Rand, and it's like all of these different shadow Rands, and they're all trying to kill Egwene. One of them actually does stab her, and then she realizes that one of them comes out of a mirror, and she breaks the mirror and it disappears. So that's when she realizes that they're coming from the mirrors.
The
Rand takes care of
reflections.
that. They're what?
They're reflections.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you have that going on. Like I said, Matt and Nynaeve are having a conversation about all the stuff going on in Matt's head, and then all of a sudden Matt kind of blanks out. Nynaeve is trying to figure out what's going on with her. She gets stabbed from the back. Then she's fighting off this thing. She keeps getting stabbed. I'm telling y'all, I had to pause the TV. I couldn't watch her keep getting stabbed. I was feeling every one of those stabs. I was like, can somebody please step in at this point? But there was really nobody to help her because, again, Moiraine is thinking, okay, Lanfear is just going to do whatever to get them to leave. Lan is up there with Moiraine pacing because he's like, okay, this is getting serious, but this is what we need to let happen. Again,
this is the second time that, maybe third time, that Moiraine has asked Lanfear for help, and Lanfear went overboard.
Right. And that's the thing, like, that's why I was saying at the beginning, anytime that you and Lanfear are on the same page, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. And so you have that, you have the stuff that was happening with Loyal and everything. And then when Nynaeve can't get Matt's attention after she's been stabbed for like the 10th, 11th time, she calls for Lan. When she calls for Lan, Lan looks at Moiraine like, fuck you. He gets his sword and he goes downstairs. He kills the gray man that was on top of her. And then Matt comes out of his thing. Everything else upstairs stops. But it's like, that's when they're sitting there looking like, what the fuck is going on? So when Lan and Moiraine go to talk to Lanfear, and they were like, you went too far. She was like, cards, an axe, mirrors. I was just having a little fun. Lan looked like he about to kill her. He was like, Nynaeve was stabbed. No, what he say first? He said, nobody was supposed to get hurt. And she was like, it's nothing that some simple healing couldn't fix. Right. Nynaeve was stabbed 11 times. And her face changed. She was like, I didn't touch her. Who was she attacked by? And when Moiraine says a gray man with blackened fingertips, her face changed. She was like, hold up, there's only one Forsaken that could do that. Get ran out the city, and she
y'all gotta go
off. Now, this is the thing that made me laugh at that scene, because the two times that we've seen her either in contact with Moghedien, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Or her name has been mentioned, Lanfear turns white as a ghost and she is gone. And I keep replaying what everybody says in my head, that Lanfear is the most dangerous of the Forsaken. And I'm like, no,
she's not.
No, that's just like y'all telling us that Nynaeve is the most powerful channeler in 1,000 years, but she can't do shit. Lanfear does not strike me as the most dangerous now, because that Moghedien girl.
Lanfear is probably the most powerful. She's as powerful as a woman could be in the One Power.
Mm-hmm.
And Moghedien is one of the weakest of the Forsaken. But you can't tell me
that looking at the show.
She's the most dangerous of the Forsaken because she's easy to underestimate. And, and she calls herself the Spider, and she likes to play from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And she manipulates people you don't even know they're being manipulated.
That bitch is scary.
She's very scary.
She is scary.
She's very scary.
And I went back and
very dangerous.
I watched the last couple of episodes, and I listened to Moiraine say it. I listened to somebody else saying Lanfear is the most dangerous of the Forsaken. I was like, y'all have apparently been misinformed, because
remember, they don't know much. They don't have many records about all the stuff that happened in the past.
Right. But I need y'all to learn quick because that bitch is not playing. When Lanfear tucks tail and runs,
Yeah,
something ain't right.
Lanford didn't want none of the smoke. She was like, "Oh fuck no!" Like, I mean,
Right.
out of everyone else that she like toys with, like literally is like, whatever. I'm not gonna you. It's just like someone saying Beetlejuice in front of Lydia Deetz. She was like, ah, nope, no.
Yeah. Because you don't know where traps she has laid down for you. That's why you want to get as far away from her as you can, because you remember Lanford walked right into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And once
Yep.
she has you trapped, it doesn't matter how powerful you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because Lanfear, when I say she turned around so quick, she looked at them. She was like, "Only one of the Forsaken can create gray men. Get Rand out of this city now." Because she knew at that point the Forsaken had found. Man, please. I was like, because Lan. Let me tell you, Lan. I think probably at that point he was probably like, am I about to regret this bond being back in place? Because the look he gave Moiraine when she came downstairs and had to start healing Nynaeve, he looked like he wanted to throttle her. And I don't blame him. Because how you just gonna sit there calm, hearing the screams, hearing what's going on, and you just okay with it? I just
It's just like we've been saying. It's like Moraine is like the Malcolm X of the Wheel of Time. She gets shit done by any means necessary, either by hook or by crook. She will do whatever the fuck it takes to get this shit done, to protect the dragon, to make sure the wheel doesn't get fucked up. She doesn't give a fuck about nothing. She gives a fuck about her final mission. She's like, yeah, you guys are gonna be. This is gonna hurt, but I don't care because I gotta get this shit done. And it's like she doesn't care, and that's why you trust nobody in this fucking show. Like nobody. It's like even if her intentions are good, like it's still like she was like she let Leandrin like fuck, and almost got him killed by the fucking gray man just because she's trying to separate them so that so that she could protect Rand. And it's like,
yeah.
ma'am, these are other people here. Like she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm protecting him. Y'all can keep yourselves safe, but I got him. So good luck.
But I guess my thing is, and I get where Moraine is coming from. I
Yeah.
totally get it. But the thing is, regardless of what reasoning you're doing this for, like, okay, maybe if we hurt them enough, or maybe if, maybe we give them a reason to decide they can't go with him, it's too dangerous. Oh, Rand, they're coming after you, we're not going to go. Which, if she knows anything about these kids, she knows that that's not going to happen. But do you really think that hurting the people he loves the most is a good way to stay on Rand's good side? No. And at
But she
some
knows.
point, you got to figure that Rand is going to figure out that she knew what was going on. How are you in the house with all of that going on and you just sitting there?
Yeah, but see, Rand will probably get mad, but then he'll see that like, okay, there's something bigger going on. I'll be pissed off, like you're a bitch, but I still gotta take care of this shit. So
I don't know. I think Rand's patience with Moraine is running thin. I mean,
yeah, it
even in
is,
this
but
episode, they're having the conversation, and he looked at Moraine. He was like, "You don't tell me what to do anymore." And the way she looked at him, I was like, "That was totally a threat, Moraine. That was totally a threat." I just,
I mean, he is
oh,
a dragon reborn.
he
yeah,
is.
and he's slowly getting to understand what that means. So it's like he knows that who he is important. He knows that he has to protect himself in order to save his friends. And saving his friends is like the thing that propels him. It's like
Mm-hmm.
he'll do anything for them. So it's like if he has to be the Dragon Reborn and do all this other stuff and go on all these quests and shit, fine.
Mm.
Okay, I'll do it. But it doesn't mean that I have to like this bullshit that you're doing to him, but I'm still going to handle this shit. Fuck you, but let's go.
I don't know. I just think Moiraine is she's walking a pretty thin line right now.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's why I like Elaine coming in and talking to Rand, because, Elaine is being trained to become a queen, and she's offering him, advice on being a ruler. Because
Right.
I think she understands the thing. I don't think, because I said I look at Rand as a weapon, because that's what even Swan says to them, that the Dragon Reborn is our greatest weapon against the shadow. What they fail to realize is, if you really listen and pay attention to the prophecies, he's not a weapon. He's supposed to lead them to victory. He's supposed to lead them to victory.
And isn't that different from what Suian said to him? Because she was like, yeah, you'll be our greatest weapon, but you won't be the general. And I'm like, that's kind of contradictory.
They know, but they don't trust men channeling. It's so ingrained into society now that there's a thing against men channeling. Something has to be done about that, because until something is done about him going mad or becoming insane, which we see in, I know we'll talk about Egwene going through the pillars. That scares them, because he's either going to break the wheel or defeat the shadow. But they know this, and they know that he's supposed to be their leader, but they don't trust him. So he's going to have to do things to get them to trust him. Or, yeah, I was about to give away something, but yeah, he's got to.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
But I think the thing too that they fail to realize, like, they keep having it in their mind that, okay, he's a weapon, he's a weapon, he's a weapon. He's a person too. And I think the fact that they keep treating him like he's not a person, he is only this thing, that's going to turn around and bite them in the ass, I think. Because even when Suian is having her conversation with Nynaeve and with Egwene, Egwene is basically like, I'm not going back to the tower. I heard what you guys tried to do. Rand told us what you tried to do to him. And Suian kind of sort of gives this half-ass apology, not really, but she's like, okay, yeah, there's some things that I regret doing, but this is this is my purpose, and this is what needs to happen. And she basically is like, yeah, when Rand becomes, as the Dragon Reborn, eventually he's going to go mad, he's going to hurt his friends and loved ones, and she's trying to, convince Egwene to come back to the tower. She was like, you'll be thankful for what the tower has taught you when that time comes. And Egwene basically is like, okay, oh no. Suian tells her, she said, without that serpent ring, if you leave here without that serpent ring, you will not be allowed to return back to the White Tower, and any offer of support or any offer of assistance or whatever we can provide for you and him, that will be gone. And then Nynaeve tries to say, well, she doesn't need it. I have the ring. And Suian looked at her and said, but you don't have the power to back it up. I was like, ouch.
Well,
but true. Because you can't channel. And Egwene says, okay, you're right. We're not strong enough. I'll agree to come back to the tower on one condition. I have to go through the arches tonight. So the next thing we see is Egwene getting ready to go through the arches. Now, I will say this. When she goes through the arches, her vision shows her as the Amerlin seat. And Elaine and Nynaeve are Aes Sedai with her. Now, first off, I need Nynaeve to have her hair down more often, because, oh my God, her locks looked amazing. She looked amazing. That's very superficial, but she looked good. But I
think Elaine was dressed as the Queen of Andor as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she had her royal stuff on.
But so when they're in this, I don't know what you want to call it, vision, other reality in the arches, they see Rand in the river. And did you notice that when you first see him in the river is full of blood? And then
Mm-hmm.
as it starts panning up towards him, you start seeing the blood dissipate. But he's in the river full of blood. And Egwene asked Nynaeve, she was like, "Are you sure the madness has him?" And she said, "He killed Mat and Perrin. I saw it." So then she calls out for him and he turns around and he's got this long hair. He's speaking in this Irish accent, I guess. And it's so interesting because he tells her, he was like, "Well, you got what you wanted, the Amerlin seat. So now you can come and do what y'all should have done a long time ago." But instead of saying, I guess, control me, cage me, whatever, he says bow. And then she comes out of the arches bloodied. And I was like, damn, what did you do in the arches? Like, did you kill him? Did you? Of course, they don't tell us, but she gets her serpent ring. And let me tell y'all, I have so much respect for Egwene because she got the ring. She got ready to walk out. And someone was like, "Where are you going?" She was like, "I'm accepted now. You can't keep me here." And she said, Suwan told her, "You have a duty to this tower and to the Aes Sedai." And Egwene said, "This tower is tearing itself from the inside out. Y'all can't do shit to help. Y'all can't help me." And she walks out. I said, "Oh my
Deuces.
God," when I tell you that was such a boss move.
Trash.
You
Fully boss
went,
move.
got through the arches, got your ring, and because that's the only way novices, they can leave the White Tower is if they're accepted. She got the ring and she was like, "All right, I'm out. I'm going to Tyr."
I holla. Yeah.
I was
I have a
looking at that
question.
scene like, "Oh, I have so much respect for you, Egwene." Egwene was like, "Look, I told this man I would follow him and I would help him." She was like, "Y'all not keeping me here."
Yeah. She was like, I'm out. Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so I'm looking at him on the horses. This is like I see that Egwene is in gold because she's the Amerlin seat. Elaine's in green. Okay, she's green Aja. But Nynaeve's in silver.
She's in
Is there
yellow.
is it? Oh, her pants are yellow. Okay, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it's like yeah, because she had silver armor on. She had like a silver armor on, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
eh, like, is that silver Aja? Like, I didn't know if that was like
No,
something different.
it's got yellow pants.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back a minute because I want to ask a question. So the Sisters of the Aes Sedai, do they always? I mean, I know Moiraine isn't because she's kind of like in disguise or whatever. But do the Sisters of the Aes Sedai usually always wear the colors of the group that they belong to?
Yeah.
Okay, this is why I asked because at the beginning of the episode, when all the shit was going down, did you notice Naomi had on a red dress instead of brown?
Yeah. Yeah, she was in
Hmm.
red.
Yeah, she had on a red dress.
As
Hmm.
I looked at it too, I was like, is she red? I don't think she was red. Like,
Mm-mm,
that's
she
weird.
wasn't because in the episode where we were introduced to her, she was with Cho Chang, remember? They were part of the
Right.
brown Asha because Varen is a
Yeah.
brown Asha. But Naomi
Hmm.
had on a red dress.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Mike's question just reminded me about that because I wanted to ask about that. But um yeah, so Egwene has her serpent ring. So she's gonna go with Rand. I'm trying to think what else was there. Oh, Elaine
Well,
and
Rand.
Avienda.
Well,
I
before
ship it.
we
I ship
hold
it.
on,
I ship it. I ship it. I love them together. They're fucking awesome. I love them. It's
before we
like they're,
get
they're
there, before we get there,
Mhm.
can we talk about Elaine and Rand's conversation again, real quick?
Yes, because I
Um.
will say this. I wasn't too sure about Elaine when she first came onto the scene. I absolutely love her now because I feel like she's gonna be I feel like she's gonna be that bridge for Rand as far as the old life, the new life, and then also shut up, Anthony. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I see that smile on your face. But I like the fact that you brought something up earlier about the fact that she's being trained to be a queen. So she knows the politics, she knows the diplomacy, she knows how to read people and how to engage with them. And you see that she does that with not only Rand, but also Avienda as far as talking to them about each other, because it's clear from this episode, Avienda can't stand Rand. She doesn't like
Right.
him.
But
Yeah.
Elaine raised up a good point. He's like, she doesn't want me to be the Caracal. He's like, yeah, but she's still here.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she still is going to take you where you're supposed to go.
Right.
And she also said, if you can get the Aiel to follow you, if you can convince them, they will follow you to the end.
The ends of the
Mm-hmm.
earth.
Yeah.
Right. So she's the one that basically convinces him he needs to go to the Aiel and not to Tyr.
Right. Right.
Yeah, this conversation is badass, man.
You learn a lot about how smart Elaine is.
Mm-hmm.
In this, and then she has a conversation with Avienda later, which again shows how good. See, when we talk about the great game, Elaine, one of the characters we're really missing is Tom Maryland from way back in the first season.
The Gleeman, right?
The Gleeman.
Okay.
He's really good at the game, and he's part of the reason why she's good at the game.
Oh.
And she's really good at playing, at learning and understanding how the game of houses works.
Okay.
So this is just a sort of like a peek into how her mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's already sending a letter to a noblewoman that her mother knows in Tyr, mm-hmm. that if she can get her on his side, he won't have to conquer the city.
Right.
He'll just have her support.
Mm-hmm.
Go get the Aiel. You'll have an army. If you go to Tyr, you can add Tyr to it.
And she's right.
She's showing, Calendar. Mm-hmm. She's showing him the political side of it, which is something that, as the story develops, like it does in the book, that becomes a very important thing to do. Also, they did something in here. They showed her send these 2 letters off. Well, in the book, the letters were sent differently to 2 different people. Mm-hmm. She sent one letter to Rand where she was talking about, when she becomes a queen, she would have his support and blah, blah, blah. But the letter kind of pisses him off because it messes up his understanding of their relationship. Okay. And the other letter she sends to Egwene. And I can't tell you too much about that letter, but that letter also helps solidify her becoming the queen of Andor. And basically saying that you have my support if I have your support. Okay. So that was sort of, I have a feeling they did that because either the story is going to change a little bit, which that looks like what is going to happen. Especially her relationship with Rand, because now she has a relationship with Avienda. Mm-hmm. But anyway, now we can talk about the relationship with Avienda. Take it away, Mike.
I'm with Mike. I ship it. Yeah. I definitely ship it.
I mean, it's like the way they are around each other. I love this casting of them two because it seems natural how they're like around each other and just kind of like playfully flirting with each other and just kind of just doing like a whole circle of like courting almost. And it's like, and I'm like, I believe it. I'm in. Y'all ain't gotta say shit else. Yeah. And they look so cute together, like their little red haired selves.
Are you like this? Yeah, what was it that she told what she told Elaine? She said because Elaine was telling her that she was gonna make some more of her alcohol, and she was like, okay, it's not like, I guess, whatever that Aiel drink is. I can't think of the name of it right now. But she said, but it'll do. And then she turns around and she does a gesture in their sign language. And she was like, okay, now. She was like, you already got the red hair. Somebody's going to mistake you for being Aiel. And I was like, are they saying that just to say that, or are they telling us something else? But, I'm going to assume that Elaine is not Aiel in disguise, or she's not, there's not a situation where she was born to the Aiel and taken away, because that'd be too much like Rand's story. So I was like, okay, that's cute. But yeah, I like them together. They're cute. And of course, they missed all of the drama with the gray man and
the
everything, because they
shenanigans.
were hanging out on the roof. But also I was kind of like, okay, y'all didn't hear anything going on.
They were
But they
hearing
might.
other stuff.
Okay, but I'm
busy.
just saying, personally, I could be doing other stuff. If I hear sounds that sound like my friends are being killed, other stuff might have to wait, because it's not, those noises were not subtle. Those people, they were all being attacked and killed, or trying to be killed.
We didn't talk about Matt, Bane, and Chiad.
The Aiel game. I don't want to play games with them. I'm good. Y'all can. I was like, oh, I like how Loyal was like, oh, I'll get my Quillen notebook. I'm like you don't need that.
I like how Chiat was like, you can join in this game too. Loyal was looking like, and Perrin was looking like, oh, they were inviting Loyal to the game too.
Uh-huh. Loyal smarter than that, man. I
Well,
was like,
I
oh
will say
shit.
this too. Going back to what Mike just said about the casting for Avienda and Elaine and how it seems like they fit, I will say this also. A lot of times when they recast roles, it can be difficult, especially when you've already established a story, because it just seems kind of out of place. I will say this. The actor who is playing Matt, especially now that I've seen him interact with the rest of the Two Rivers folk, I like this one better. I'm sorry. It seems to flow more naturally with him, like after the attack and everything, when they get to the point where they decide they're going their separate ways, Nynaeve has decided that she's going to stay in the tower because she does need to train. She needs to figure out what's going on with her channeling. And Matt is like, I'm going to stay here with Nye. Him saying it like that, like we don't usually hear anyone just call her Nye, but it's very personal and it flows so naturally. And I was like, it almost feels like he's always been a part of this group, even though this is the first time we've seen him interact with all of them, in such a way. Because even in the last episode, the season finale for season 2, he didn't really exchange words with Egwene and Nynaeve. They just shared that little scene at the end when they were on the tower. But yeah, the casting for this show, they've done a great job with that. But going back to the game, yeah. Matt, you need to find a different I don't know, a different way to pick up girls.
Yeah.
He just goes with
it's like
goes with the flow. He just goes with the flow.
You see him later and his neck's all scarred up. I'm like, ooh, you almost lost, player.
Right. And Nynaeve was like, what's that about? He was like, a gentleman never tells. And then which one was it? Was it Bane that kind of winked at him when they were leaving at the end? I was like, oh, wait a minute, Matt. You might do have a chance with one of them Aiel girls, as you said. But yeah, so anyway, after they get attacked, they have a conversation the following morning, and Rand is like, look, the Forsaken are they're not gonna stop coming for me. So I have to leave. And then Nynaeve says she's gonna stay at the tower. Matt said he's gonna stay with her. And then Rand kind of looks at Perrin and he says, you're going home, because when they had the conversation earlier, when they were drinking, Perrin kind of made it seem like he wasn't going to go with them. And so he said, you're going home. And Perrin was like, I'm sorry. And Rand was like, nope, this is not your path. This is mine. So it's like he really he doesn't seem bitter about the fact that they're all not going with him, because he knows how dangerous it is. And I mean, I guess Lanfear and Moiraine got what they wanted. But he turns to Egwene as well, and he was like, yeah, you'll go to the tower too. She was like, no, I told you I'm with you. And he was like, they're not going to stop coming for me. And she was like, let them try. Oh, okay. So you got one powerful ally going with you. But and then of course Bane and Chiad are going with Perrin and Loyal back to the two rivers because L'Oreal
Royale
saved
saved him.
one of them from the magical
The
axe.
axe.
Nynaeve and Lan have a very sweet couple of scenes in this episode. There's the one episode where she's telling him about what she went through in the arches because at this point Egwene is going through the arches and he's like, Egwene has survived worse stuff than the archers can throw at her.
Mm-hmm.
And Nynaeve is like, it's not just that stuff, it's the memories that it leaves you with, the things of, the thoughts of what could have been. And I love he just kind of kneeled down to her and he just looked at her and he was like, were we happy there? It's like she didn't even have to say it. And he was just like, were we happy there? You don't have to lie to me. And she was just like, yes, but also no, because what did she say? She said, we were happy, but we also weren't doing what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so what is that? Because at this point, I don't know what Nynaeve wants to do. She doesn't, well, I guess she doesn't want to be Aes Sedai. So she says. So what, does she just want to go back to being a wisdom? Because technically speaking, she probably was that in the Arches when she was living there for so long. But I guess that might just be some subtext for us for later. But then they also have the scene where he's showing her his Valkyrie blade. And this is the sword that Moiraine tells him to go get because she was like, yeah, okay, so we'll do what Lanfear wants just this once because she wants the same thing we want. But if she double crosses us, if she betrays us, we'll kill her. And apparently his Valkyrie blade is it made by the One Power? Is that what he was saying? Or it's forged by the One Power, just like Rand's blade?
It was forged with the One Power.
Okay. So it can kill
I guess because there are weapons that were forged with the One Power. I don't know. They weren't made specifically to kill Forsaken, if that makes sense.
Is Calendar made for that specific purpose?
Calendar is a Turangrial.
Oh, okay.
It is a sword that is not a sword.
Oh, no. Egwene said it was a Sangreal.
A Sangreal made specifically for men.
Okay.
Does that have something to do with blood?
You kind of not necessarily.
Okay.
If blood is the One Power. I understand where you're getting that from because of the root word where Jordan got it from. Sangreal. Yeah. Sangreal. There's Sangreal, Terangreal, and Angreal.
Yeah.
And
so it has to do with earth, yeah.
Yeah, and the Sangreal use the One Power. Like they can help you enhance your One Power.
Okay.
So the Calendar will make him even stronger. That's why Lanfear was telling her, when the Forsaken come after him, he's going to need something to help him. Right. And that would be Calendar. And there are Terangreal, like things that have a use and they're wrought with the One Power.
Like everything that was in the 13th repository in the White Tower.
Well, I don't know, because I think that statue of the woman was a Terangreal.
Yeah, I think they said it was that there were both in that repository. But okay. Yeah.
So so the Calendar, he's gonna need Calendar and some other stuff. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
But he's not going to go get Calendar because he's decided to go to the Aiel Waste instead to get his army.
Yeah, it's interesting. So now everyone's going their separate ways. Earlier when he was having the conversation with Moiraine, she's like, "Where are you gonna go?" He's like, "I'm gonna go home." She's like, "You can't go home." I mean, what are you gonna do there? Like,
yeah, I don't think he was saying that he actually that's what he would do. I think she said, "Where do you want to go?"
Where do you want to go?
I want to go home, but I think Rand knows he can't go home.
He can't go back home.
Yeah, because
He's
they
he's
will
he's
come looking for
moving.
him.
Well, he's also moving towards. He's got a bigger thing to do.
Purpose, yeah.
Yeah, he has a bigger purpose, and that's what she was trying to explain to him. Like, dude, it's not gonna matter unless you defeat the shadow.
Yeah, what did she tell him? She said, "You're not a child anymore. You're the dragon
You're the
reborn."
dragon reborn. She didn't even say, "Man, you're the dragon reborn." Yeah. Now, Perrin. Okay, so in the books, Perrin hears rumors that the White Cloaks are occupying the two rivers, looking for a man with golden eyes.
Which
And
he
that's
has
which
now.
yes, but and that's why he in the book. That's why he's going back here. They make it seem like he's just going home because he wants to go home.
Okay.
So are they looking for him or are they looking for what's his name?
Oh, you know they're looking for him.
If they're in the two rivers, they're looking for him.
They're looking for him. They're looking for a man with golden eyes in the two rivers. And what does Dan Bornhold know?
Oh yeah, that's right. He calls them two rivers.
And he calls them two rivers.
Right. And he killed his father.
And he killed his father.
So yeah.
Deserved that shit.
Which I don't understand why they just didn't do that and say that's why he was leaving, because it fits. It's the one thing from the book that actually they can fit into the episode, that he hears that the White Cloaks are there looking for him.
He's getting like mystical. Somebody said you were looking for me. Here I go.
Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't mention it in the episode because the White Cloaks are also a trigger for Egwene, and it would.
Oh, she would be like, I got to go too.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they didn't mention it in the show, because she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I still owe Child Valda ass whooping." So yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Oh no, as far as she know, that dude dead. She put a knife in his neck.
No, she saw him. She saw him when she was on the tower.
That's right. Yeah. She did saw him. That's right.
So yeah,
that's why she unleashed on him and didn't care who else she killed.
That's right. That's right.
That's all she saw. So yeah, that's probably the reason why they didn't mention it. Yeah. But okay, so we gotta talk about this.
But it's interesting. But I do also like that they did. Never mind. Go ahead.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say something else about Matt and about Rand and Elaine. I'm gonna let it go.
What?
Because remember that the last episode of last season, he looked up at her and she had the key light on him. He was like, "Oh, who are you?"
Well, yeah,
like, I'm Elaine. And then here she is giving him political advice.
Yeah,
and screwing Avienda. It's interesting.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Well, I mean, she has a thing for. I mean, redheads have a thing for redheads. I don't know.
No,
it's red on red love.
You know what? There was something else I was going to ask about, and I can't think of it now.
Oh wait! It just hit me. You said Rand has a thing for redheads.
Did you say that, Mike?
Did you say that, Mike?
I said it's red on red love, like Evelyn and
Elaine. Why do you keep calling her Evelyn?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I swear you said Rand has a thing for redheads. I swear you said that.
I might have said
that. I swear you said that.
I think I did say that. I think
that might be pretty accurate.
Yeah. I know.
Egwene is not a redhead.
I know.
She's not. You're right about that. She is not.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention, that wound that Rand has, that thing looks so gross. I know I said this in the last episode when Elaine was healing him. That thing looks even more disgusting now. It looks like somebody took I don't know, like a chocolate blizzard and kind of swirled it and just stuck it on his stomach. It looks so disgusting.
In the book, it never really goes away.
Yeah, I would assume not, because that was a cursed dagger.
Yeah, it never goes away.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to look at it like all the time. So I don't
You
know.
imagine like festers and smells and all that good stuff.
Gross. So no, I don't know if him and Egwene are gonna get it on. He just might need to keep it, covered, keep a shirt on, do something. That thing looks gross. It makes my skin crawl. It's just so disgusting.
Yeah, it's
But
just nasty.
let's see. Did we miss anything? Because I
We
know
got we
there was
got
a
we got to
lot going on.
we got to talk about her creating the little gray man.
Oh yes. Let's talk about this crazy. Oh,
Oh, that shit gave me the creeps. Like my skin was literally crawling while she was talking. I was like, oh no. I already don't like spiders. First off, I have an innate fear of spiders, and to see her put them motherfucker in the way, I was like, nah, man, no, 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 like nah. I was just like,
Softly, softly from the shadows.
now
nah.
who is this guy? This is not somebody we've met before, is it? Because she had him kind of hanging, and he kept saying, I did what he asked me. I did what the dark one asked me, and I don't know if he did something wrong or however he got into her sights, but
I don't remember, but he's a white cloak. He's wearing white cloak stuff. So
okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. But because it was so dark, I couldn't tell what color his clothes were. But I kept hearing her say his name, Jaichim, Jaichim. And I was like, why do I
yeah,
feel like I've heard that name before? But I couldn't
yeah.
figure it out. So, okay, he's a white cloak. So I wonder what it was that he was supposed to do in order, and I guess whatever he was supposed to do, he did it, or whatever he was supposed to do, he didn't do it. Somehow he got into her clutches, and she's talking to him, and just her manner of speech gets like, the more her voice kind of goes down, her speech gets more and more creepy. And then she keeps asking him if he wants to be a gray man. And he's like, no, no, no. And it looks like she's causing him more pain, like coercing him to say yes. So when he finally says yes, oh no, what was she doing? She was freezing his blood. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
every time he would tell her no, she would freeze his blood some more. And then when he finally says yes, she does this thing where I don't know what exactly she's doing, but from the way it looks from the back, it almost looks like his soul is leaving his body in wisps of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Okay, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, you
And,
have to voluntarily give your soul to the Dark One in order
oh,
to
okay,
become a gray man.
okay, kind of like
That's
it is
why she
in.
couldn't make him a gray man. She had to make him give up his soul.
Okay,
Well,
kind of
he
like,
had to
okay,
voluntarily give
okay,
it up. So technically, she didn't make him, but we know if we're gonna argue
She
contracts,
did make him.
kind of
she
like
it
with
was under
supernatural, you
duress.
have to agree for an angel or a demon to allow you to be their vessel before they can actually just kind
Mm-hmm.
of step
Or
in.
just you,
Okay,
you have to invite a vampire inside. They can't just walk inside.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then
but
what she does with him, once she does that, she turns him into, I guess he's a gray man now. And she tells him she needs him to find someone, but she does so by sticking her fingers in his mouth. And she has this it's very creepy. Like, I just seeing that character with something akin to a sexual response, it's creepy. It's so creepy because
No, son.
I don't know, some of that, I can't even get my thoughts out. This bitch is creepy. She scares me.
she's great.
She scares
Yeah,
me.
She's
yeah. It's like
great.
I
She's
was just
great,
watching it
but
while we
she
were talking
scares
about it.
me. What'd you say, Mike?
I was watching it while we were talking about it. I'm like, oh God, no, no. Like just the part where when you were talking about her sticking her fingers in his mouth, she was doing it. Then she kind of looked. She was like, no. I was like, no,
Yeah, I
no.
was almost expecting her to put her fingers in her own mouth, and then they cut out. I was like, please don't do this to us. I don't need that image being the last I have of this episode.
I think they wanted to, and
Of course they did.
they just like, yeah, there might
Left
be a
it to
bridge too far.
Yeah, they left it
Yeah,
to our imagination.
yeah.
They were
But you
like, yeah,
know
we'll just.
She's wearing a Age of Legends Aes Sedai ring like the others wear. If you know this,
I don't know what is the difference between an Age of Legends
it's
Aphrodite.
just a band over two fingers.
Oh, okay.
If you go back and watch, you'll see that Ishamel is wearing one.
Yeah.
Even in like that, um, when Lutheran was sealing him away,
Yes.
he was
Mm-hmm.
playing with his on
Mm-hmm.
his finger. Yeah,
Okay. So that's different from what the Aes Sedai wear now, because the Aes Sedai rings are very distinct now.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This episode had a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, those first 11 minutes, the part all
First
the way up
17.
until
Yeah.
the opening credits, man, when I say that was so intense, I really thought Leandra was gonna get what was coming to her. I'm like, y'all, she almost had the life sucked out of her by Suan, and then she had not one but two swords go straight through her chest. I really thought she was getting it, but I guess not. It just seems so handy that she always had a yellow Aes Sedai sister with her when she was near death. That was too convenient. I'm just
Well,
saying.
they can all heal. Some are just better than others.
I know, but I'm just saying it's just a little too convenient. I want her dead. Anyway, did
Yeah.
we skip anything?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay, Mike, you got some shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out again to Elaine, like because at first I was like, and I blame this on me watching, haven't seen Wicked recently. After it, I was like, oh, this is fucking Galinda. This is not Galinda. I retract that statement. She's not Galinda. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite characters just because like her channeling is fucking awesome. She's smart. Like she's way smarter than they presented her when they first introduced her last season. You just thought she was some stuck up princess. You were like, whatever.
Yeah,
We ain't trying to do all this. But it's like she's proven herself to be an extremely valuable member of this party. I love the quote when she said, "Any decision which helps some will hurt others," and I was like, she's spitting. I'm like, all right. Like, damn, I
yeah.
mean, she is. I really love her character. Shout out to Lanfear's zebra ass cloak that she wore through the city, so nobody would be scared. Would be scared that said, "Oh God, that's the bitch that's trying to burn us! Get out, move, run!"
No, did you see the looks they were giving her? They were like, okay, she clearly does not belong here.
No, of
Like
course
she was
not,
not
because
being
she,
subtle at all.
Oh, she walked through it like she owned the place.
Yes, she
yeah,
did. And they were all looking at her like, yeah, let's go this way.
yeah, no doubt. And I love how as soon as they saw her, they're like, "Oh fuck!" It's like Moraine put her cloak on and turned to leave, and she was just right there, like, "Hey."
Right.
I was like,
Like, where
"Oh,
you going? I just want to talk.
I just got here. Hold on." Yeah, I love how they predicted Matt playing the game with Aiel. Like Rand said, "You're going to get speared," and Matt says, "Oh, I certainly hope so."
I'm telling you, I love them acting like just regular carefree, horny teenage guys or young adult guys because
Yeah,
we don't get to see that from them. They don't get to let their hair down, so to speak, because they've been dealing with all this stuff. So it was nice to see them kind of sit there and
right.
talk. And then you get the same with Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine. This is the first time that we've seen the three ladies kind of really bonding, and you can tell that they've become close ever since Falme because of the way that they kind of interact with each other. And even when Avienda says to Elaine, she was like, "So, what is the tower like?" And she said, "Without Egwene and Nynaeve, lonely," because she knows that that's what she's about to deal with. Because Elaine is staying behind so that she can complete her novice training while everybody else is going to wherever. But thankfully, now she will have Nynaeve there with her at least. So you know,
And Matt,
maybe she can, yeah, but Matt is not really, I guess, like Matt is friend adjacent for her, but Nynaeve is
Friend
the,
adjacent.
you
friend
know,
Jason.
that's the important part for her. But hopefully she can help Nynaeve figure out what's going on with her powers. So yeah.
Can I
And
find an I
oh,
want to make be friends with an Aiel and just like set up me saving their life so that they can be dedicated to me and like walk around and protect me all the
that is
time.
such a selfish. No.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're damn right it is. I want a ginger who's good with a spear to follow me everywhere. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
What's
So
wrong with
now
that?
Bane and Chad have to stay with
Yeah, because
Loyal.
she's like, I'll go
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I go wherever she goes.
Yeah.
I love this quartet. I want a show about them. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
That would be a great fucking show. I would
Yeah.
love to watch
Mm.
that. And also, I'm really interested to see how Rand and Avienda's quest goes. Like I am so interested in how they don't like each other, but she still is honoring her toe, and it's like him with his red hair will kind of blend in. I have a question: are the Aiel all female, or is it like a race of like is that just like a race of people?
It's just a race of redheaded people, right?
Race of redheaded people. It just
I mean,
I'm not, I don't know how to put it. It's like are they just women like Amazons, or is it like or are there men and women Aiel?
there have to be men IEL because how would they reproduce?
I'm look how are the Amazons when how are the Amazons produced? What do you why are we
Magic.
asking these questions? This is
they
fiction.
they
You know
they
how shit happens.
they're a society that is a society, and they have their rules. I can tell you this: that Ban Chiad and Avienda are maidens of the spear. That's a particular title amongst Aiel.
Okay.
That means
I
they're
got you.
badass
Because
warriors.
I'm wondering when they find other Aiel, and it's like is Rand going to stick out like a sore thumb? I mean, he already sticks out like a fucking sore thumb
Hmm.
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he going to stick out even more because he's going to be the only guy there?
No, I
No,
think he's gonna
no.
stick out
Okay,
because he's the only IEL that wasn't raised in the IEL way. So I think that's
okay.
what's gonna make him stick out, and that's one of the reasons
Because
why Avienda
okay,
doesn't take to him.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, because his mom was Aiel. Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
No, his mom's. Oh, never mind.
His mom was an IEL.
I don't know if we don't know that, do we?
We saw
That's
her.
we saw the
Yeah, she
vision.
fought in the IEL war.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? What were okay? You know what? Never mind, because that
Oh
might be in
God,
spoiler
yes.
territory. Do y'all have any final thoughts on this episode?
Um, Best
Oh,
episode of the
real
series by far.
Yeah,
real
And I've already told you guys they only get better.
yeah. You did say that.
yeah. Um, Varen's heartbreak over Naomi betraying her was heart wrenching. Like when she was talking to Moiraine, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Mhm. Did you
And talk
notice
about
that
her.
Naomi didn't hit her quite as hard as she hit Adelaide?
No, I think
I
what
was like,
happened
did she
was
block it?
she was trying to hit Varen, and I think Varen blocked it, and it ended up going over to bouncing over to Adelaide. I don't think Adelaide was her original target.
I
But she
thought
got
they
hit.
both.
But
I
she
thought
got
they
hit.
both had. She had sent it to both of them.
I
I'm thinking,
thought that it was that she was she was aiming towards Varen, and Varen, I think she like put her hands up, and I think that kind of I think because she was trying to block it, and I think it ended up reverbing or bouncing over to Adelaide. I don't think that was intentional.
So you got me rewinding.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
yeah,
think
freeze
that
frame that.
I don't
Mm.
Just
think that
freeze
was
frame it, and you'll
intentional.
see like right there in that scene, like once you freeze frame it and like increase the picture.
I ain't freeze. I ain't freeze framing nothing.
Well, you
Yeah,
got
yeah, but
to
it's like you
kind
can
of
see her put her
see
hand up.
the direction of the what you call it, the weaves.
Yeah,
No,
because she
she
definitely put
sent
her
it to
hand up.
both of them. She
She
sent it to
did.
both of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
and
yeah,
Varen blocked it partially.
Yeah,
okay,
because she still
okay.
they both still got knocked out.
Yeah, they did, but the fact that Adelaide can't even remember her sister, that was
Heart
painful.
wrenching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a weird form of compulsion.
Yeah. Mm. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the second episode to see where this goes.
Yeah. I hate that they are all splitting up again, but
You know they're gonna get back together though. Don't you? No need to even start
but it's
dating.
probably gonna be at the end of next season, kind of like it was with the first two seasons. Like we didn't see them together again until the end of the second season. I hope it's not that long, but I also understand why they're having to do it because I do believe that all of them together would be a distraction towards Rand. I do agree with Lanfear in that sense, that they're kind of hindering his growth into who he needs to become. But I also think that as much as I do believe that, I also feel like he's going to need them if there's any chance of stopping him from going mad, from going to the dark. I think it's going to be with those 5 that's going to keep him from doing that, because I don't think it'll be Moiraine. I don't think it'll be Lan. So
Yeah, if this if this tracks the way it's supposed to track, they won't be together again.
Mm.
So don't get your hopes up.
Man.
and on that note, that's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel. And you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation.
Oh, thanks for 500.
Oh, yes. Thanks for getting us up to 500 subscribers. Yep.